I'm just back in my office on Lewes High Street. But I wanted to show people my book. I wrote this a couple of years ago, but it was really difficult to kind of like get the courage up to sort of put it out there. It's really hard to kind of like put yourself on the line. I had no idea sort of whether it was really any good or not. And I don't think it's like, you know, it's not Tolkien-esque for sure, but then who is? But I've written some pretty good stories, and there are a few in. It's like 20 short stories that run throughout 2,000 years of history, starting from zero, coming up to now. And it is split up into kind of like little stories. So you got like Joseph of Arimathea, or Joseph and Yeshua. I kind of brought the Grail myth down here because we don't really know A, whether he was even like a real person, or B, whether he really did land in Cornwall, whether like there's anything to those myths. But I thought it would be a really good way of kind of beginning the link to the importance of Hamsey as a place, because this is really centered around Hamsey, this thing. But on each one you have a map, and it sort of shows how the land was at their particular time. So I'll find another one later down the line, and there'll be like more buildings and place names and everything coming into it. And yeah, so each story is to do with one person and their little piece of history. And I think a lot of it was down here. I think it really was. And it's kind of, the idea is to fictionalize stories to kind of give people a slightly better feel for what might have occurred. And there's a couple in here I'm really proud of. Like there's one I did on Galahad, which I had to use mostly imagination for that one, and I think that's probably why I enjoyed it the most. But I got these little pictures done. The copies that are available now are black and white because it was just too much to print them in colour for everyone. But yeah, I really am very happy with a couple of these stories, and the whole story in its totality kind of does make sense. But what I was thinking of doing is doing a new edition and putting like an introduction and then all of the real history at the end of it, or make that a separate book. I'm not quite sure what to do with that, but it would kind of qualify all of this, because this is all based on the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle entries, historical research in this area, and I'm sure like a lot of places have been incorrectly placed outside of Lewes and this area in the Lewes. But I've got other stories that I could add in now as well. But I just wanted to show people my book. It's going to be available, I've just put a little thing up that says it's available in Boone Books, which is just down here, and then there's also, it's going to be in the Lewes District Council building, and I'm going to put an advert in there as well. And then it's available on Amazon as well if anyone wants to have a look at it from there. But it'd be great if people came and bought a copy. It would really help me, and also kind of it would then get them kind of confident in ordering more from me. But I think yeah, I just don't know how many people from Lewes are actually watching this, but please let people know about it if there's anyone that's interested in those Grail myths. And then, like, you know, you want something really cool, like, say it ends roughly with this guy, which might seem like a real stretch to most of you, but you know, this is where it becomes interesting, is that most of this information, you'd never have put these things together. So like John F. Kennedy came to Britain in 1963, and he met with Harold Macmillan, who was the Prime Minister of Britain at the time, and they stayed at Birch Grove, which is not too far away from here. I mean, you're talking like 20 minutes maximum. And he stayed there. Now Birch Grove is right next to a place called Wych Cross, and Wych Cross is a massive occult centre. Oh my god, it's incredible. And it's also very near to where the Battle of Ashdown took place. But there's really odd stuff that goes on up there. It's also, I think, something to do with the Scientologists. They've got something at Ashdown Forest there. But there's a lot of weirdness that goes on up there anyway. And within a month or two of him coming here, talking to Harold Macmillan, and going home, we all know what happened to him. I find that very interesting indeed. And like, yeah, I put in a premise as to why that happened. It's kind of his discovery of secret societies and the information that they were holding. But that's kind of like, who knows, it's like, you know, could be, really could be. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what anyone thinks about these stories. You know, some of them I've got slightly wrong. Like the Templars weren't fighting on the side of Henry, they were fighting on the side of de Montfort. So, and Offa wasn't particularly as pagan as I thought he was. He's, you know, I've read his charters now, and he talks about St. Dionysius and a few other people. But yeah, I might even read a couple of these stories out. I've done one, so you've got Beowulf on here, who is Beowulf, and if you read the previous stories leading up to it, you understand where the treasure came from that he found, what the dragon was, and who he was, you know, and how that kind of myth got turned into something far more than it was. Kind of far more. It actually, you know, a lot of it actually happened, which is incredible. You know, finding the truth in myth is far more interesting to me than just kind of like believing it. So, like, that's the point of this. It's, I hope people can look at it and enjoy it. And yeah, if you can, please get a copy. It really helped me out. I'd love to kind of do more of this stuff than building work. God, that'd be amazing. Anyway, much love to everyone. I hope you're all very well.